We all just came back from Suicide Squad. I saw it a week ago. If you want my spoiler-free review, check it out. youtube.com/ENTLynx. My spoiler-free review is there. Let me know what you guys thought of it. Subscribe and share with your friends. But I'm going to give it to you, Ari, first. Ari, not what you thought, but what was Suicide Squad about?
Okay. Suicide Squad is about a government official named Amanda. Her plan is to prepare for World War III because Superman is dead at this point, or he's believed to be dead at this point.
Yeah, because the audience doesn't believe it.
So they feel like the audience doesn't.
Yeah, we've seen the dirt rising at this point.
Right. So her idea is to hire all these villains to take out the bad guys because we don't have any heroes. Don't know where Batman is at this point.
They try to get people, bad people, to protect them or do whatever mission in case
To protect the world.
shit hits the fan. But in doing so, shit actually hits the fan.
Okay, so now we're going to go into what you thought. What do you think about this movie, Ari? What were your expectations going in? And then what did you get from this film?
It's weird because I kept hearing mixed things. So my expectations were like, I don't really know what to expect because some people were telling me, oh, it's so great. It's better than Batman versus Superman.
It's like being better than like getting a dump on your chest.
Oh, good morning. Thank you for joining us. So I don't know. I didn't know what to expect. I was trying to like just go in with no one's opinions.
Yeah, I tried not to say
over my
anything to you.
head. But I was a little bit disappointed because I felt like it was a little bit corny to me. I liked Jared Leto. I feel like he should have had more airtime. I thought that he
So
did a good
you
job.
like the idea of him?
I like the idea of him. I feel like they should have expanded a little bit more on his role in this film.
Do you feel if you took him out of the movie, do you think the movie would change?
No, maybe they would have focused less on Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Like a little bit less, but like all of his points were trying to tell her story.
Yeah.
So he could have been omitted and they could have still told her story.
Shane, what did you think about this film? What are your thoughts? No, what did you like first?
I like the characters.
Yeah.
All the characters have a lot of potential. Like, the casting I think was spot on. I kind of like their backstory, but it wasn't really delved into that I feel attached to them in any way.
Right. There was a huge imbalance on who they focused on.
Yeah.
So like we know a whole lot about Will Smith.
What's that dude that died in like
Slipknot.
Slipknot. As soon as he appeared, Tiago looked at me. I was like,
he's gonna die.
He's gonna die in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
He died in 9 minutes.
Oh, really? You timed it?
9 minutes.
You actually timed it? That's hilarious.
He was done. He was done.
He was literally there to be the guy that's killed.
Yeah.
You know?
But at least if you're gonna kill him right away, and that's totally fine by me. At least show a backstory so that when he dies, it like impacts you.
Yeah.
When he died, it was like, all right, I knew he was going to go because we never saw any of him.
Yeah, I mean, they gave Will Smith's character and Harley Quinn 2 intros.
Yeah, they could have given him like
They
I don't know,
guy
30
one
seconds.
Which is insane.
30 seconds or something.
Koki, what did you think about this movie? What did you like?
I liked the overall presentation of the movie in terms of
The oral presentation.
like in terms of before you go to see the movie, like the marketing was done really interesting. All the posters were done really interesting. You can tell the cast and crew seems to really liked each other and like all this like camaraderie. But when it comes to the film itself, I found it to be boring.
Yeah.
And not boring in the sense of like actually boring in the sense of why we've seen all this before. You guys are you're trying to say you're different, and you're groundbreaking, and really changing the game. And you're following a pretty pathetic and plot filled, story like hole filled plot. So
I'm asking you guys a few questions. What you got from the movie? A, do you feel that this was a mission only? Actually, what was their mission? Did anyone answer what their mission was? The original mission?
No,
to save someone.
Yeah, save someone.
Save someone. Mm-hmm. And when you found out who that someone was, Amanda Waller.
It didn't make any sense why she was in there in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did it make sense why it was a secret? Why is it a secret? You have bombs in their neck already. You can force them to do stuff. Why does it matter that it's a secret that's Amanda Waller? Yeah, how does that change anything?
Yeah, you're right. It doesn't.
You know, like,
I mean, they'll be more resentful to actually do the mission, which
they're gonna
doesn't
do
make
it.
sense.
Yeah.
But they're going to do it regardless.
And why wasn't their mission to stop the blue thing in the sky? Like, you're saving Waller, but why
They're
was
not capable of doing it. Like,
that was my second question. Do you think this team was the best team for this specific
there's
mission?
absolutely no chance
No.
they could have beat that guy that just exploded like a freaking train.
Speaking of the villains, we didn't see the villains in the trailer, or we didn't realize. We saw snippets of the villain in the trailer.
Yeah, but
it's
we didn't
expanded
know.
upon. We didn't know.
the
What did you
witch.
think of the villain?
Nothing. He was just there.
But it kind of raises the question of who was the real villain,
Yeah.
right?
Is
in
it
this
Enchantress,
movie.
a brother, or both of them?
If it was like the Enchantress, there should be more history about her.
Yeah.
Like, where'd she come from? How was she a goddess before? And at one point, she was standing there, and it was a brother, and it was like a bunch of like big henchmen around her.
Yeah.
And I thought they would have some kind of crazy battle, but after the explosion, they all kind of just disappeared.
Here's another question.
What?
This is trying to tell me an explosion can kill a god.
Yeah, you basically just killed them.
You know, explosion. I feel like that's a real cop out. You know, like an
Right.
explosion.
Wasn't he grabbing tanks and stuff and throwing them around?
Yeah, and you're gonna have explosion, and then also the military guy underneath who pressed the button, he
Yeah.
killed him. Did he die?
Yeah,
Did he kill himself?
More tanks.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking that the entire time. I was
Or
like, this is
it's just so many questions like that. You know, like things like Rick Flag and Dr. Moon were supposed to fall in love. Like, how did Amanda guarantee that?
Yeah.
You know, aspect of that, especially because a lot of it hinged on them falling in love, the control. You know, or aspects like, did you believe Deadshot? Like, why was he an assassin or
What do you mean?
higher? If he's such a good father, like, what is it that makes him say, you know what?
Oh, yeah.
You know, like it had me thinking of Ant-Man. You remember the Ant-Man when character, like, he's a low level thief.
Yeah.
You know, but he doesn't want to be that. He doesn't want to have that life. He just falls back into it because for his daughter's sake and to do better for her, he's like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
So you understand it, but because he's not good at anything else, he's drawn back in. So you
Yeah.
understand that kind of like pressure. Whereas with Deadshot, it feels like he loves this life,
right.
but he also wants his daughters. Like, he wants to have it both ways.
right.
Which
doesn't make any
Huge,
sense, 'cause
huge
you-
internal conflict.
Yeah.
But what also bothered me was when they were doing his background story and like how he was incarcerated, how he was in the jail, and they show that it was Batman that like brought him in, and Batman's words to him were like, "Don't want to do this in front of your daughter," but you're like attacking
I
him
know.
in front of his daughter. Like, they're walking down the aisle, the
He could have
alley.
waited till he got home.
Yeah, you
tucked
could have
his daughter
waited
in.
until he like dropped her off.
Yeah.
But like that didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you don't want to do this in front of my child, then why are you here
Here,
in
right.
front of my
Yeah.
child? Like, it just didn't. Like, I don't know.
It screamed a lot of. I've said it before. I don't like movies that they have scenes for the audience.
Right.
So this is like, let's show the daughter in front of the audience to make the audience like pull the heartstrings of the
Sympathize,
audience.
yeah.
But in the context of the scene, it doesn't make sense. You know, I also made you guys watch the animated series Batman Attack on Arkham,
Mm-hmm.
and I think they did a better job with Deadshot just by showing a picture of the daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That alone, that's it. You didn't see her. It was just a picture.
And you saw her at the end.
Yeah, and at the end, exactly.
Just
But-
the fact that he has her picture means like he's so attached to his daughter.
Yes,
Right.
exactly. And you see him more as a villain because you can say you don't know much of the daughter, his relationship with the daughter.
Mhm.
You know, it's almost in the movie. It's almost as if it's setting the daughter up to follow in his footsteps.
Mhm.
You know, like she wants to be an assassin
Yeah,
too,
yeah, yeah.
type thing. When he's talking to her about like
Bullets and
trajectory
stuff,
and bullets and all that stuff, I'm like,
right.
what? Are you trying to train her up
Mhm.
to be a bad guy? It's not like you're training her up to be a badass good guy.
Yeah.
You know, like, I never got a sense of why. Like, the movie was telling us that they're bad guys. Right, remember, we're the bad guys. We're the bad guys. Like, what villainous thing did you actually see them do?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Apart from reacting to gods who attacked them.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, that's the worst we saw, you know.
It's not even villainous.
it's
like,
not. It's
yeah.
just like any.
Because they cross treat him like
Right.
shit.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
you see that in any film that
Mhm.
portrays inmates
Exactly.
and like their relationships with the guards in the
Exactly.
jail. Like, it wasn't anything different. You see that in Orange Is the New Black, and it's a
Exactly.
Netflix
You don't see them
series.
as the villains.
Right, you don't see them as the villain.
No, and it's like, you're supposed to sell this to me as Amanda Waller has been given unlimited resources to get the worst of the worst, entire world full of metahumans. This didn't feel like that was that group. You know, like, and I didn't believe their bond. Did you believe at the end when Diablo says, "You won't take my new family"? Did you believe that they were
That
family?
was very confusing.
That was really weird. It's like the super attached girlfriend that you just met for like a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, let me ask you a question. Why did Deadshot not shoot Harley? after being offered his freedom and his daughter.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Why did he miss?
In the animated series, it makes sense because they have a relationship, they're lovers in the animated series, but
and even then, it's very different because he doesn't like her like that. Because he's
not nice to her. They just hook up.
Yeah, and it's one of the situations where he's just like, "Why fuck it, let's do it." He doesn't want to do it initially. He's still aware that he's not gonna open up to her and talk to her like this Deadshot was doing. They'd have a conversation while walking down the street. I'm like, what?
Right.
No. They wouldn't do that.
It's strictly business at that point.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And even though she did crazy things or had odd mannerisms, she didn't see. It wasn't like she was insane to me.
Yeah.
She was just strange.
Just quirky.
Right.
Yeah.
But she wasn't insane.
No, and they say she's more insane than the Joker, and I didn't see that.
No.
Yeah, because what was it? The animated, when they introduce her, she's playing a video game.
Yeah.
And this random lady walks up to her to snatch it, and she just bites her ear off. And
Yes,
it's
exactly.
That's insane.
That is insane. That's what I want to see. Yeah, I want to see that
Just
kind of
not
stuff.
her just fighting a couple of guards.
The Suicide Squad, we really don't see him kill any innocent people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not advocating killing innocent people, of course, but these are the villains. I want to see that.
If someone comes in their way, they should just...
Yeah. The only one that does that is Amanda. He kills
Yeah,
people.
right.
Do we feel like this was the case because it's not
R-rated.
R?
But then I thought that until I watched it again. Amanda kills all those people in the office. Just point blank murders them. So clearly that you can still kill people, you just can't show the blood.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't see the equivalent of the villains doing that, just killing people, not caring.
Right.
Being villains and doing what they do. The worst we see is Harley Quinn rob a storefront window, and where are the bad guys?
She stole a purse.
Yeah, it's what? That's not villainous. I want to see them do stuff that villains would do. We didn't see them cross the line. Because the monsters they killed, heroes, we'd be fine with heroes killing them.
Right.
Type of thing. They didn't have that moral story of what is it to be a villain. Because again, if you don't know the backstory of these comic characters, and I told you that these characters were heroes, you'd believe that. In some sense, even if Harley's crazy, you still sympathize with her as a hero. That kind of thing. Did it feel like a suicide mission? Outside of if you don't go, we'll blow your head off. The mission itself, did it feel like a suicide mission?
No, because all the henchmen were just pure brainless guys just running around that pose absolutely no threat. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But the
it was kind of like you're watching Star Wars.
Yeah, and they're just kind of walking
and they're just and they miss all their shots.
Stormtroopers. But Star Wars has that funny thing where it's acceptable. It's acceptable for stormtroopers to miss every freaking shot.
Because it's Star Wars.
Because it's Star Wars. Because you're used to it. But this one, in terms of advertising this crazy mission, there's no way you'll either die or come back or either die.
It didn't feel like that mission, that you couldn't get the heroes. It only had to be the bad guys. I almost wish it was a more contained story, like Assault on Arkham. Mm-hmm. Arkham works because it's smaller. Even though Batman's involved, he's investigating other things while they go break into Arkham Asylum because Batman can't be seen breaking into it.
Yeah.
And only these people, ex-members of Arkham, can go back in.
Right.
And what I liked about the animation was it starts off establishing that Harley, Deadshot, and Boomerang had done this before. When she wakes up, she's like, "Oh, not this again."
This again.
Exactly.
That was actually pretty cool.
I love that. So it's audience were thrown into this ongoing thing, and through the story, we see the history of it.
Right.
That would have been a great way of expanding the history of the DC universe, because we all know DC is trying to play catch up in terms of world building. Marvel's had a head start, for better or for worse, and DC have been trying to get to Justice League. Straight away we've been introduced to so many characters. I thought this movie would have been a great way to show the history of Batman and his villains. Mm-hmm. Because in Batman v Superman, it's established that Batman's been doing this for 20 years.
Yeah.
You could have got a real interesting backstory. Through these characters, you'd know more about Batman and why he became so dark in Batman v Superman.
Also with DC, their stories are much more popular than Marvel.
Yes.
Anyone that you meet can tell you Batman's backstory, or about Arkham, or about the Joker. Mm-hmm. They shouldn't even have to introduce most of that stuff. We can just be thrown right into it, right in the mix, and we'll be totally okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Marvel, on the other end, had to like introduce Iron Man and
Yeah.
Thor, where they come from, because I didn't know anything about them.
Right.
So it makes sense, but they could have just
This one was like
jumped
a
right
wasted
into
opportunity. I felt,
Yeah.
you know, and even scenes like that club scene with Common.
Joker.
Like, what was the point?
it. Yeah,
Like, what was the point of that scene? Because if it's to show us how crazy Joker is,
it
and
doesn't really.
he just shoots in the face.
them.
That's not crazy.
Yeah, and you could have skipped. We already know that the
Yes.
Joker's crazy. We don't need.
Yeah.
We don't see
need
that
that
again.
backstory.
You know, and in fact, a lot of Joker scenes I felt unnecessary.
Yeah, most of them were. I feel like they could have used that time to, introduce you to the other characters that you
Yes.
don't really know that well.
It just didn't show.
Like Katana and that magic sword, but it's
Right.
like,
yeah, what's up with that?
what's up with that? Do you know anything about that sword already
No.
after watching that movie?
No.
I only know because I know the comics.
Right.
But in terms of just watching the movie, it's like, what was the point of having that? Like, did that
Should be
sword?
like an animated graphic novel before the movie came
Yeah,
out or something.
because even when Harley uses that sword, it felt like any sword would have done the same thing,
Yeah.
not that specific sword.
Right.
You know,
But
Okay,
also, just the reason for them introducing her was weird because
Yeah.
he was the
Rick Flag.
he was saying that she's here to protect me
Yeah.
in case you guys are out of line, but you could blow off their head if they're out of line.
Yeah.
So it didn't make sense.
Yeah, so why do you have
that
that?
she like the reason why
Yeah.
she was there is like
And
why do
then-
you need her if you have all this control?
And then when Will Smith's character I keep saying Will Smith's character because, like I said, I enjoyed him, but he's Will Smith. Like, he's Will Smith
Right.
from
You
Bad
don't forget
Boys.
that.
You don't
yeah,
forget.
you don't forget he's
He always throws these Bad Boys jokes, like bitch and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that was Big Willie.
Right, yeah.
Like, love him or hate him. Again, I like Will Smith, but again, I think if you're a hardcore Deadshot fan, you wouldn't like his portrayal because it's Will Smith.
Yeah.
I don't know. His character, I liked it. I think they try to make him too cool sometimes, but it didn't quite work with all the lines, one-liners, and the jokes. And then when
I
you find
just felt like he wasn't bad enough.
no,
Like when they got him out of his cell and then Viola Davis like presented all these guns to him and he like pointed it at the guard and didn't shoot him. Like I was just like
why shoot?
First,
Why?
I expected. I would have bet my whole
That was the first
my whole
thing.
bank account that
The-
he was going to shoot him.
yeah.
Because that was sorry.
that's fine.
No, that was the whole point of like the guard showing the guard pissing him off. Like
Yeah.
one day if I
Right.
get out of here, I'm gonna like whatever. And then it gives you this opportunity for it to actually happen, and it just doesn't do it.
Yeah.
It's like,
Why did
Right.
he shoot in the air?
Yeah.
Even if it was fake, why shoot in the air?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then I feel like the guard was just there. It felt like the guard, that actor, is a friend of someone behind the scenes, and he's like, "Oh, give him a role," because that character's arc goes nowhere. Because you think then Joker's going to kill him.
Yeah, he
I
does.
don't know what happens to him at the end of the film.
He just gives the phone to Harley.
They could have also played it where Amanda could have just been like, I'll allow you to kill him if you like join
Yeah.
me or like go
Yeah.
ahead, like shoot him, I don't care. Or something to
She
show
doesn't care about
her
him.
yes,
Yeah.
to show how much of a villain she is
Yes.
as well. And then him at the same like kill two birds with one stone type
Yeah.
of thing. But they like totally like skipped that.
Speaking of Amanda Waller, how she had this thing that had proximity sensor if you got too close to the briefcase, but apparently didn't do the same thing for the brother's urn thing. She had that next to
chilling in
her,
her bathroom.
just chilling in the bathroom.
Like
But you've done all this research. You didn't know that she ruled with her brother 6,000 years ago.
Right.
How did you not know this? And then
Yeah, so many plot holes.
so many ridiculous fossils. And at the end of the movie, she's like, "Oh, we've got to cover this up." The whole city. was
Yeah.
under fire.
That's what I didn't understand. Like, why did she
Just
shoot up her
covering stuff.
entire team?
Yeah.
yeah.
To
Like,
cover up what?
How do you cover this up in this day and age of instant messaging and
Yeah,
social
yeah,
network?
Right. Like, everyone already knows
it should be like a world disaster. Everybody knows what's going on.
Yeah.
that the world is about to end.
In fact, Rick Flag says she's destroying the world. That's a line for the movie. She's attacking the world or whatever. And why did the Justice League or other metas? You can argue maybe the Justice League hasn't formed yet, but in Batman v Superman, Wonder Woman got involved from one monster attacking.
Right.
You wouldn't think that she'd want to get involved in this, or even Flash. Flash stopped Captain Boomerang.
Right.
You know,
Wait,
he's
where
like,
was he?
How was he
Seeing
doing
this?
all this time? Just watching on TV. Oh hell! I'm just,
this is
I'm
the
just
whole
not using
world.
My powers.
They were busy stopping small time crimes.
Yeah, I know, right? At the end of BVS, in connecting, that's my other issue. In a way, this connects to Batman v Superman. At the end of Batman v Superman, he says to Wonder Woman, Batman, we need to gather a team because I feel something's coming, which alludes to the dream he had.
Yeah.
how does he not know that this is the beginning of that? There's a big giant light in the sky. You have no context.
Right.
All this crazy stuff's happening. For all you know, and then even in Batman v Superman, in that dream, you see like a big beam in the sky. I mean, it's a different color.
Yeah.
But how would you not think maybe this is related? Let me go and investigate this. You know, like it's so separate, and especially at the end of the film when it's like, oh, we'll take it from here. Where have you been? You know,
What are you doing the whole time?
the whole time.
You know, like, even the characters, like, for me, they were so underdeveloped. Like,
Yeah.
Captain Boomerang, the animated thing, you could see he was an asshole. He was in everyone's
Yes.
face, just
Yeah.
talking shit and, like, trying to do everything that nobody would do.
One of my favorite lines from that is when they first wake up again to establish that these guys have history.
Yeah.
When Deadshot looks at him and says, "Are we gonna have trouble again?"
Yeah,
So you know that they have
Yeah.
the history.
Uh-huh.
You know, like constantly.
Exactly. Like, he was trying to be a dick, but he wasn't really.
Yeah.
Like, when I laughed so hard when Rick Flag was like, alright, you guys are free, and he kind of just runs out
Yeah.
the bar. I loved it. I thought that scene was perfect.
But
But
then-
then he just kind of comes back with
Yeah.
no reason.
Like, why was
Like,
he
why?
back?
Why aren't you back then?
Why are you back? And I hate the fact that he doesn't use his boomerangs. He uses it twice. First time in his flashback to take out his buddy,
Yeah.
and then the second time was
Maybe
the
to kill
surveillance camera.
And then
And that's it.
to kill, like, a random henchman.
Yeah,
like,
to have
just-
that. But I don't think he throws it. He uses it, but
Yeah,
he doesn't
he
throw
uses
it.
it, that's
The only
right.
other time he throws it is when he misses, and then Katana grabs him, and then he catches it back.
Yeah.
You know, like, but in terms of attacking someone, he doesn't actually use it as a cool weapon, like throwing it at different people, slicing heads off, you know.
Yeah.
Katana,
That's true. So what was he doing to kill all the
He was just
soldiers
not
at the
holding
Lynx?
he was keeping it in his hand, he wasn't throwing them, he was just holding the blades in his hand and just, like,
Mhm.
swiping at them. And, like,
That seems silly.
did you ever understand, like, how those things died? Because it felt like sometimes bullets would do nothing, then sometimes bullets would take him down, and then sometimes
it was weird.
it was only headshots, but then sometimes, like, boomerang would
Harley's
slice
bat
the
is, like,
waist.
enough.
You know, like,
Harley's, like, wooden bat is enough to affect
and why were they, like, creatures that looked like they had herpes face?
him.
Like, what was that? Did you like the design of them?
No, they were just so random.
It felt like it was trying to be cool and different, but it just felt like,
Yeah.
what is that? You know?
It would be even better if they still kind of looked like people, but had, like, not a zombie type effect, but you know what I
It
mean.
became a zombie movie.
Yeah, but at least if...
It did become a zombie, but like,
Yeah.
why couldn't they just look the same?
Yeah.
And like be possessed or whatever.
I think it would actually made it more impactful if they
Because
looked
then you're
human.
killing humans.
'Cause, yeah,
feel
you're
like
killing
killing
people,
humans.
so it's
'Cause
like-
at a point, Deadshot was like, what are those things?
Yeah.
You know, and Rick Flag was like, they're not people, or they were people, or
Yeah.
something like that. But at that point, it was
didn't
kind of
care.
impactful, but then after you realize it's just mindless,
Yeah.
but
You don't care.
bunch of charcoals just like running around.
Like, did you feel that they did anything that the
Charcoal
heroes...
people.
It's
Yeah,
charcoal
charcoal
people. Did you feel like the villains were doing... Their actions were anything that the heroes wouldn't do?
Oh, absolutely
No.
not.
No, you know, you could easily replace that with heroes.
Oh, one
I
thing I
love
was
the
like, so
actions.
angry
I'm
about.
surprised they didn't take out all of the soldiers and just leave the one
Yeah.
dude.
Like, when Rick
That's
Flag
insane.
said,
Yeah,
give me a
fine.
group of special forces, I will train them.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that would have been better.
Yeah.
Especially because when Task Force X was being created, there was no imminent threat.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Right.
you know,
It was just like, let's do this
just in case. I always felt like we needed a training montage. It's always like you know, like they were hired, shit happens, like send them. We don't know if they work.
Yeah.
You know, like he's gonna send them. I don't believe the government would have done that.
Yeah.
You know, as a first resort, not even like
Yeah.
shit. We have no other option. It's just
Yeah,
like
then
send them
that's-
straight away. You know, and then even then they don't send them straight away. Why did Rick and Enchantress go alone?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I felt like they did
Where
that-
was Batman?
Yeah, where were these characters? Why didn't you wait for the rest of the squad
Mhm.
to come out? Why go straight after them first away for the Enchantress to then run away? And then why didn't Enchantress use her brother to possess Rick? Like she just travels somewhere else and gets the random black guy.
Oh, yeah,
You know,
right?
like, you know, I feel like you'd
Right,
use
you just-
Rick.
She just picked a random
Yeah, why didn't she
guy,
use him?
completely random, like
Yeah.
in the subway station. Like, how did you even get here?
Yeah.
I mean, not how'd you get here, but like, why this place?
Yeah, what
and
was
not
the one?
why something more familiar.
Because
And,
then it would have been interesting if I almost wish when they were saying we didn't know it was Amanda Waller
Mhm.
initially. I almost wish it was like another DC character we hadn't seen yet.
yeah,
You know, because that would have been really interesting in sense of imagine it was like a regular, you're like, oh shit, another character we don't know, or someone else. You know,
Yeah.
use the opportunity to introduce more characters, and things like that.
one of my concerns also was Diablo. Oh
Yes.
my god, he started so good.
I
and
love this
went
character at the
so
beginning.
bad, so bad at the end. What I was really angry about was, alright, he's got all this thing where he killed his family, he doesn't want to use his powers anymore. Fair enough. Totally cool. But just Will Smith just talking smack to you and all of a sudden you're like, ah! And
Hey,
you
don't
start
attack
burning
Will.
everyone. Huh?
Yeah. Why did he attack Will? Like,
There's one moment where, right after Boomerang told him, why are you not using your powers? Or you're just gonna be in the background the whole time? And then there's like a little fight scene, and you just kind of see him just looking around. You know, he's kind of holding back and looking around. I wanted that scene to show, like, the, whatever, charcoal people killing, like, the soldiers.
Yes, and then he feels bad.
Killing the soldier, and then he feels bad that he has this power, and he's not actually acting, and he's like, alright. I'm doing this for good. I'm not doing this, you know.
For my own personal gain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Or maybe you had some stranded people who didn't evacuate the city.
Yeah, and then he kind of helps them.
Yeah. What did you think of Diablo, Ari? Yeah.
I feel like he was one of the more powerful villains.
It was interesting because he was born that way.
Hero.
Yeah. What's up with his backstory?
Yeah.
Right, so they didn't really focus on like why he was that way. But
Like, I
I
feel
just
like
felt like
So you didn't know about him until like
Like, now is where you need him. Like, again, it builds into, like, this stuff.
it just didn't make any sense to me that he kept saying that because he accidentally murdered his family or on purpose, whatever.
Out of anger.
Out of anger, that he was no longer gonna like kill people. However, after that happened, he was already in jail, and then he killed the inmates in the jail.
A whole bunch of them.
A whole bunch of them. So that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
That's like a weird plot hole in itself. But also, when Will Smith was like trying to motivate him to like help out, it was just seemed silly because he just, you know, like pointed at him like a few times, and then all of a sudden he's like so angry.
That seemed like a
he's
scene
just
from
gonna
Bad
set
Boys or Men in Black.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, that was a very Will Smith moment.
Yeah, it's just like
cool, right? That was like it's like, I don't know, I'm kind of used to hearing that.
Yeah. Here's my my idea for what I thought his story should have been. I have no idea of the character, but I was interested in the killer that doesn't kill, but I thought it would be even more interesting is in the killer who wants to die. So I had this idea of imagining you saw a backstory of after he killed his wife and kid, he's trying to kill himself. Yeah, doesn't work. He's tried everything, doesn't work. Then Amanda's like, I know a way to kill you, and you can join your family if you do this mission. I thought that'd be really interesting. So the others want to survive. He's the only one that wants to die, so he doesn't even get a thing in his neck. Yeah. Because he wants to die. Because I was interested in the character too. I think he did a good job showing me like his emotions, showing me that he had this pain inside. It's just the story went nowhere with it. And then at the end, it became this weird Mortal Kombat kind of thing.
It was very weird. But also, the witch's brother.
Yeah.
He
Do
was
we know his name? We didn't know his name.
No. He was also spitting fire or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like, is he fighting fire with fire? Like, I didn't understand how that...
Well, because Amanda earlier said, I'm fighting fire with fire. So it's supposed to be like poetic.
I get. Oh.
But also the bar scene, I didn't really get
it. It felt tacked on.
Scene.
That bar scene felt like it was just shoehorned in.
Yeah, just because, you know, it's like a downtown for...
Yeah, we need to, it's the second act.
He has to like do like an emotional thing. Plus, what is even emotional about it? It's been like years, I don't know.
Yeah.
How long since you killed your daughter and wife and stuff.
And
I mean, it's okay to get emotional about it, but like, kind of just open it up to everyone. It was kind of weird, yeah. For someone that's like really silent.
But could he even die in an explosion because he's like on fire? Because like, I was expecting him to just like be
still
fine.
be alive.
Yeah, after.
No, yeah, no. Another question.
Why didn't he go and do the explosion too? If he would be fine.
Yeah. Why Will Smith's character, when he finds the documents, you know, why was he mad?
Yeah.
Like, what new information did you get?
Tell us everything.
You know, like, what new information did you get that got him mad that everyone was like, you know, fuck it. Even Katana left. Katana, who was Rick Flag's, like, friend or whatever.
Yeah.
She even leaves with them, like, and she's like, I'm not a criminal. Then what the fuck are you doing here then?
They even show him, like, reading it. He just found it and just throw it right at him. Like, read it. Show us, like, he just found some crazy information that he didn't know.
And it was like, it tried to allude that the crazy information was that the blue light that was coming to the sky was actually magic, because apparently he believed that it was terrorist attack. Mm-hmm. You know, like, why are you surprised? You just seen all this crazy stuff, and now you're surprised because you read it in a document?
Yeah.
Like, what? Like,
You've been killing charcoal people for
Yeah.
hours.
you have a killer croc on your team. You have a guy that does fire.
And
Like,
all of a sudden you're upset.
why are you upset?
Because you see it on paper.
Like,
Doesn't make any sense.
Joker and Harley Quinn. Did you get why Harley fell for Joker?
Nope.
Outside of the
No
film
idea.
saying Harley fell for Joker.
See, I feel like, well, Jared Leto was saying there's a lot of scenes that were
Cut
taken out.
Yeah.
And I feel like,
The
A
wrong
different
scenes
cut.
were taken out.
no, like a different cut of this movie, maybe like the Ultimate Extended Super Edition DC.
Again. See, but why is that? Why is it that DC have to say, well, the better version is coming out later? I mean, they haven't said,
I feel
they haven't
like
said this in this.
if they actually do that, which I hope they do, and I hope they even release that other cut that they have that's like
Yeah.
darker. Man, I hope so, because I really wanted this movie to be good. And if there's like another version of this movie out there, not out there, but like
But
in
apparently,
their vault that's better, I would want to see it.
well, apparently when they were screening
What
this
is
movie,
the point of that, though?
I don't know. Well, they
As a film director, whoever makes the decisions of,
Mhm.
like, what is the point of
Multiple
having
cuts.
multiple cuts of something? Like, why not just show everyone
Sometimes
the best cut?
Sometimes
That's
it's
the
not.
point.
It's not in his control.
and that's the point. It's
Yeah.
the direct, and this is, news came out recently that the director had his version, the studio had their version, and they were kind of like bumping heads of what's the best version.
Mhm.
In fact, the test screenings were two different versions, and then apparently after the backlash of Batman v Superman, the studio wanted a new cut that was different to add more pizzazz to it. So if you notice, there's some scenes Rick Flag where some scenes his hair is one length, another scenes his hair is a different length. That's why the film feels like choppy, because literally it's the two versions of the film
And
chopped
then you
together,
put it together.
spliced together. That's why you have certain characters having two intros and these doing all these weird things, and it feels like one
It's
minute
like a
it's
giant
nighttime and all of a sudden it's daytime. You know, it's choppy like that.
Yeah. Well, no, because like sometimes studios do interfere a lot.
What bothers me the most is going into all these movies, especially before Batman v Superman, there was a lot of talk from Zack Snyder, especially saying, oh, Marvel, they like to follow someone else's lead, but here at Warner Brothers DC, we give filmmakers free rein to do what they want. We're a filmmaker-driven studio.
Yeah.
But then yet, you still interfere.
Mhm.
So it makes me worried if there's interference with someone like Zack Snyder, interference with someone like David Ayer, directors who are usually known for directors to put their foot down.
Mhm.
What are they going to do to someone like Patty Jenkins with Wonder Woman?
Yeah.
You know, who may not have as much power, you know, at the studio right now. So it makes me worried for DC's future stuff. Are you guys excited for anything in DC right now?
No.
Not really, but the thing is, they also need that one guy to like drive everything.
Yeah.
Like, all right, we're doing this. I know you want to tell this story, but you need to include this guy because we have to know where this guy has been. Like for Thor, be like, you have to put Hulk because nobody has any idea where Hulk is. So
Yeah.
just include Hulk. Find a way.
Yes.
Tell your story, but just include Hulk in it. And that's what they need right now
Yeah.
because like.
I mean, they have that
otherwise.
in Jeff Johns. He was a comics guy, now he's been promoted to
Oh, okay.
movie guy.
Yeah.
But it might be a little too late.
Yeah,
'Cause,
because
you know,
they
like,
already planned everything.
Wonder
for
Woman's
it.
already finished filming.
Mhm.
Justice League's already
is, like,
filming. You know, like, so we're not going to see the ramifications of this new change till after another 2 or 3 more movies.
Mhm.
At that point, is anyone going to still care? These 2 movies would suck as well.
I mean, I'm still gonna care if like.
I'm talking about general audiences because you know
general audience
we've
probably
got
not. Yeah.
Man of Steel. And really, if you want to include it, right, you talk about like all DC movies.
Mhm.
If you go back, The Dark Knight Rises was mixed reviews. You know,
Yeah.
even though it was Nolan, it wasn't praised
Mhm.
unanimously.
Right.
You know, it was kind of like there was mixed reviews.
Yeah.
Man of Steel mixed reviews. You know, Batman v Superman mixed reviews. Now Suicide Squad. So that's 4 movies back to back from Warner Bros. DC that haven't
Yeah.
been the hits they were supposed to be.
Right.
If we get another 2 more, are regular people going to care? You know, like
At a point, it's gonna have that reputation. of
Yeah.
just
I really,
having,
I
like,
feel like, yeah, but DC fans are like hardcore fans. They will still watch it, but like for the rest of us, we'll just be like, we're gonna pass.
But do you think
yeah, it's not gonna be movies that I gotta pay $15 to go watch at theater, $20 for IMAX. I'll be like, all right, I'll just wait whenever it comes
Yeah.
out.
Like I still have not seen Batman vs.
Yeah, and you refuse to. Well, this movie is doing very well. We didn't go into box office earlier on, but I can quickly mention now. This weekend, box office results for this movie are off the charts. In fact, it's broken records for August. It's hit $135 million opening weekend at number 1. It's Will Smith's highest opener. Do you think that's going to last?
What is
no,
coming out?
definitely not.
Is there anything like noteworthy? That's coming
You
out?
got
really.
Pete's Dragon coming out, which apparently is really good. You've got
I feel like if it
you got Sausage Party.
oh, yeah.
That's gonna be big. I mean, people are looking forward to that, and I hear it's good as well. So it's not one of those movies like it's tracking well. It's one of those movies. You've also got Kobo and the Two Strings and War Dogs. We saw War Dogs.
Oh,
We did.
That's coming. That we like that. We like that movie. We finally get to talk about that movie soon.
Yay.
When's the embargo left?
I think the embargo lifts on like Wednesday.
This Wednesday?
Yeah. No. Next week. It comes out the week after.
Oh, so
yeah.
we're gonna start.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta get.
Yeah, I'll
it
send you a
by
review for
Monday.
that soon. We really like that movie. We'll talk about that movie soon.
See, all right, this is a movie that owned its music moments.
Yes.
When the music hits, it uses like music that everybody knows, you know. But when it hits, and you feel it.
Yes. Unlike
Suicide
Suicide
Squad,
Squad.
every 2 minutes has like a famous song or like some song that
It
everybody
leans
knows.
on the song being famous.
Yeah.
As a Suicide Squad
And
does.
when they, what's that song? Oh, I forgot the name of it. But anyways, it was
Eminem?
like Harley. Well, no, when she's saying, "Oh, what's that? I should kill everybody out there." No,
Yeah.
it's just the voices. Like that
It
song
was-
playing in the
yeah.
background just wastes that
Yeah.
scene completely.
Completely, because it,
No
makes the
impact.
scene, it makes the scene awkward.
Yeah,
You know,
the
it does-
trailer makes it more.
Yeah, the
more
trailer,
of an
because
impact than
when she
this.
says in the trailer, the song cuts.
Yeah.
So it has that impact. When this one, it keeps playing, so you're like, okay. It's almost like crickets.
Yeah.
You know? Another movie that did a good job with music was Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh yeah.
Because the music was part of the story because he got taken when in the 80s, and that's the only attachment he had.
Yeah.
You know, it informs the character and it informs the period in which he last left Earth. Where this was just like, just put any song that everyone can go bump into.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
It's
like you play
it's like,
Kanye's
what's your
Underdog.
target audience? We're not retarded.
Yeah, no, it did almost kind of
That way.
treat the audience. It kind of almost trying to spoon feed the audience.
Yeah.
Like, who's this character? Well, this character is this, and this. Even has the text on screen explaining it to you and all that kind of stuff. It even mentions Harley was implicated in the murder of Robin. It says it real quick at the bottom.
When?
When it shows the character profiles,
Yeah.
and Harley's one, it says in the beginning. There's a line at the bottom in the beginning that says implicated in the murder of Robin. That's it. Again, that makes me annoyed because then why didn't Batman come after them?
Right.
You know, he killed
Where
Robin.
was he the entire time the world was ending?
Okay, ultimately, would you recommend this movie?
I would recommend it for a very small target audience. There's a very small population of people that would love this movie in theaters, but I would say 80% would
Can
would really don't.
Like,
care
would it
that
hurt you
much.
to wait? Would it hurt someone to wait?
No.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
What were you, Ari?
I would say to wait until
Yeah.
it comes out.
But I would say it's a good movie. Like for me personally, even movies like that, I would rather see in a theater because it's like a spectacle.
Yeah.
Type of, and watching at home is completely different.
So you'd say watch it in theaters purely for the fact that it's a bigger screen.
Depending what kind of movie. Depending what kind of movie you're
I'm talking about this
into.
specific film, Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
just because it's a bigger.
If you go for free,
Yeah, if you watch it at home, it's nowhere near like
Yeah.
anywhere close.
would you watch it again?
No,
No.
not anytime soon. If I do, it will be like an extended cut or something.
Okay.
I would not watch it again.
Would you want to see this? Would you want to see a sequel?
Yes,
Yeah.
I would 100% want to see a sequel, but that takes it in a whole different direction. I hope they cut the budget by like freaking half or something.
Yeah.
So they have to do a contained small movie that focuses on the characters. There's some shooting, but there's no like 10-minute slow-mo scenes.
Yeah.
I feel like the whole movie was shot at 200 frames a second, so
Yeah.
they could slow-mo every scene. they could
Influenced by
possibly
Zack Snyder.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Ari, would you see this
That
movie again?
didn't seem-
I mean, would you see this movie again, and would you want to see a sequel?
I would watch the sequel if the Marvel people make it.
Do you know what? The only way I'd watch a sequel, you know how like you had the Edward Norton Incredible Hulk, and then it kind of just like
Shifted.
you kind of shifted and moved along. You're like, move along.
Yeah.
That kind of happened. Whatever.
Yeah.
I want to see that done. I wouldn't even replace many of the characters. Like, yes, I'd like to see some characters getting a second chance, but I wouldn't care if we got new characters either.
Right.
Like,
Because
I
there's so
think-
much that you can replace it to.
I think a lot more people are more attached to the idea of Harley and Joker.
Yeah.
Like, because of what you have going in.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't interest me. Like, I think they did a good job what they had, but I wasn't interested enough because it felt like Harley was just like act crazy.
Yeah.
You know, like, what was the depth to the character that this movie was giving me? What was the depth to the joke? Like, I didn't buy why she fell in love. I didn't buy, like, everything was done for that cinematic look. Like, it looks cool to have a character diving into this tub. Like, why'd you have to dive in?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
just climb in. You know, like, but because it looks cool in the film, you know, that's why you do that. Like, their clothes are burning up, but their skin is fine. And then suddenly, as it melts, you see colors red and blue because that happens to be Harley's colors.
Yeah, I actually thought about this when it happened. Like,
where did those colors come
I
from?
don't understand the whole entire point of that scene.
You know,
at all.
like why was Joker laying down with all those knives? Because it looks cool on camera, but okay, like.
And
even,
the onesies. What was up with the onesies?
And even if you can say there's a longer cut, I don't know if you could make enough sense of that, of scenes like that, for it to add to the overall film. Because I feel like Joker's role was just. I understand they were trying to make him a nuisance, but you could have done more with it. Because you could have. I like the Joker that doesn't care. Like Joker should have been a nuisance that's like, oh, I don't want you to stop those bad guys. Yeah. I want those bad guys to win. Because that's Joker. Like he wants to blow up the city. He doesn't care. You know, he's not just trying to save Harley. He should have been the one that's just like, oh wait, this guy's trying to kill everything.
And they could have introduced even more characters, like in the animation movie. They had a Penguin come apart, just like 5 minutes, not even like 2-3 minutes, but it worked. He was just there, like, all right, guys, what do you want? All right, this is like the merchandise or something.
The animated felt more like espionage spy. You know, like. You know, like how they break in, like, we need Cobblepot to give us papers and means so he get in.
Everybody had a purpose.
Everyone had a purpose,
Everybody had a purpose. That scene, those scenes when they break in Arkham Asylum, everybody has a purpose. Everybody has, like,
you go in so you can break into the they have to use Harley to get in there so they can break into the computer network so they can let the other guys in.
The cold
Killer Frost, as a dead body.
As a body, because she's cold, obviously. Like, she would pass scans or whatever.
Like, everyone had their purpose, you know. And then Joker was kind of like that red herring that he's like, oh shit.
That was more like the wild card.
Yeah, the wild card. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
Oh, we don't know.
You know, because of the relationship between him and Harley. Like, I like that. All the stuff, you know. I even wish that we saw King Shark instead of Killer Croc.
Yeah.
I mean, they're interchangeable.
They're
interchangeable. But I just didn't feel like King Shark, I said more because he felt more like the muscle. He's like the Hulk of the group. Whereas in the movie, Croc didn't, like, he was big, but he didn't feel like the muscle. He didn't feel like
absolutely no character development at all.
I feel like Harley was stronger than him in terms of like how they were taking people out. Like you just see Croc lift people. That's the extent of his strength. He never felt like this was someone like who was super strong, and you needed a strong man. Yeah, you know. That's it. I don't know what else to go into without really bashing the movie. Clearly, you guys know how we feel about the movie.
Sorry if you really liked it. But tell us if you loved it. Just
tell us why. Tell us
why.
Yeah, tell us why.
Tell us why we're wrong.
Movie for defending your audience. Like some people would really
see what my problem is. I've heard a lot of people saying, "Oh, I hate that critics have come down to this movie. This movie wasn't written for the critics, it was written for fans." And I'm like, but critics are fans. That's why we watch these movies. That's why we watch every movie. You know, we're film fans first. And I think it's almost insulting to say you have to lower your standards to watch a comic book movie. So comic book fans should have lower standards.
Right.
That's insulting, man.
It is insulting.
It's so insulting. It's like, oh, this is a comic book movie. Like someone actually said, what, this isn't Shakespeare. What do you expect? You know, like I shouldn't go in with low expectations. Yes, I'm not expecting Oscar-level movies, but give me basic storytelling.
Why can't a comic book
why can't it win Oscar?
Be Oscar-worthy?
Yeah. Why can't you strive to achieve that? You know, like, it's to lower your standards because it's a quote-unquote comic book movie. I think it is insulting. It means that the creators aren't taking it seriously. You know, it's like, these are the creators themselves. These are the people themselves making the movie who are saying, oh, we made this for the fans, not for you critics. But again, like you said, let us know what you guys think of the movie. This has been a long podcast. And I think it's because we wanted the film to be good.
Yeah,
and it's more upsetting.
More about disappointment than anything else.
Absolutely.
If I didn't care, I wouldn't have much to say. You know, if I didn't care about this movie, I have much to say because
that's the problem with those movies. Like, you want it to be good so bad that when it just ends up not being good,
it
just hurts you more.